All right. Black Power family. Once again, it's on. It's the Truth Hour with General Sarah Sunsetti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Sunsetti DVD lectures. That's right. Let me get me going here. DVD lectures, classic and Jurassic, t-shirts and hoodies for the kings and queens. We got African and Kemetic jewelry for your fly, for divine and royal Africans. We got medallions for we got onks, all seeing eyes, cosmic talismans. We got the Naga Buddhas. We got everything that you need. Holistic herbal tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. We got you. At this time, we got 20% off, family. Run. Come and get you something nice and get you a big discount too. KingSeti.com, of course. SETI University, GeneralSeti.com. Pull the fire alarm. Over 900 videos on African history, heritage, spirituality, nation building, mental warfare, advanced African academics, developing the Black nation one lesson at a time. The complete General Sarah Sunsetti website. Run, and get your ass in class today. Don't you even hesitate. That's right. Highlighting Too Raw for YouTube band videos. General Seti, of course. Highlighting King Narmer, father of ancient Egypt. Need that. You need that. Especially for you cats out there talking about the Anunnakis. I'm going to show you who the Anunnakis. That's right. Who are the seeds of the devil on earth? And shit, it's hard to tell today. It's hard to tell. We're going to do our best, though. Who are the seeds of the devil on earth? Another powerful presentation. The making of a nigga so raw, it can only be shown on GeneralSeti.com. Ain't got nothing but the truth. Ain't got nothing but the smoke for your family. General Seti popping on Patreon, BPC making noise. We never calm. That's right, exclusive live streams. Too hot to handle on YouTube. Or just so exquisite, we give it to our family on Patreon. That's right. Highlighting evidence of the modern troglodyte. Next up for back. You see evidence of the modern troglodyte. We just dropped today. America is Egypt, the Mississippi versus the Nile debunked. The preview for this upcoming Sunday live stream, most definitely going to be off the chain. Tomorrow, also, the stolen art of alchemy, the black arts. You see, we'll be doing that one tomorrow, along with God Set, the Black Lord, master of the ring of eternity. You see, we also just dropped was ancient Egypt powered by vibranium-like stones from the Congo. Ain't got nothing but fire, family. On all fronts. On all fronts. You see, on all fronts. And so make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Sunsetti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. You will be up out of here, never to return. All right. What's going on? Okay. I'll say, well, all right. Let's do this, family. Now, we got a powerful presentation. How the Rothschilds and Rockefellers created modern Egyptology. Okay, we're not talking about the African studies now. Okay, we talking about what these niggas out here doing today. You know what I'm saying? Fabricating translations. You feel me? Fabricating translation, promoting Caucasoid scholars in the field of African studies. We got to get on them today. We got to get on them today. So we're going to jump right on in because we want to bust right up the middle, fullback style. We give too much credit to these Cro-Magnon Neanderthals. Shouldn't get no credit. But somehow they manage, to get credit beyond their abilities. You see? Now, when we start talking about, because it's key. When we get to calling out these names, these is key players. These not any players. These is key players. You understand what I'm saying? Hired hitmen for the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. And you could understand why they would want to control Egyptology. Because at the same time they was creating Egyptology, they were creating Hebrewology. Same thing. You see, they were controlling and fabricating and directing both ideologies. You see? Both ideologies. This is the truth. Just like they fabricated cuneiform. That's who fabricated it. Yes, right. That's who fabricated the cuneiform language and the same one that fabricated the so-called Medunata. Okay. Yes, I did say that. Yes, I did. The language that you know today is fabricated. Okay. Nobody knew of, and you can't come 2,000 years after something is long gone, and then all of a sudden you speaking it, and you don't have no primary speakers still alive on the planet. Gone, language gone. You see, though it may still be alive in fragments, and that's not the same. That's not the same. You see, the full package of what it was over 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years is gone. And in your mind, you believe it. You see, but I tell you what, try to speak a language today without being able to have audio. You see, you ain't got no audio. How you gonna learn it if you can't hear nobody speak it? You see, and especially if it's, you don't have no dictionary to explain, even if you put some words together, how the hell you know what they mean without a dictionary? You see, all of that is key. You see, in which they do not have and fabricated. They knew that they would be in a deficit in trying to do these things. And so, everything that they needed, they manufactured it. They created it and pulled it out of thin air. That's exactly what they did, so that they could control the civilization of ancient Egypt, thus controlling all those cultures in that part of the world, because they knew that Egypt was the mother of all those civilizations, whether it be Greece, whether it be Rome, whether it be Mesopotamia, whether it be India, whether it be what they call Israel. Okay, the Africans, the Egyptians was the mother of all those civilizations. You control Egypt, you control the world. Simple as that. You see, and so they went in there fabricating all type of, because of the fact that so much of Egypt was in the Bible, and so the Jews had to control Egypt. You understand, in order to keep Egypt in a line with the Bible. You see, so they went over there finding all the things that was necessary for them to justify the Bible. You see? And so this is the main reason why the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds control Egyptology. Now you looking here, Alexander von Humboldt. You see, he was one of the early primary players, you see, in picking, he was a German, you see, a German. And the Germans were very instrumental. Matter of fact, the Germans, because you're talking about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and a lot of people don't even know that the Rockefellers are German. Okay, Rockefellers. Okay, that was their name, Rockefellers. Okay, coming, and they changed it when they come to America to Rockefeller, but it was Rockefellers, and they come out of Germany too. You see, and the Rothschilds, we already know they come from Germany, and so you see Alexander von Humboldt. See, they was the ones that was, he was instrumental in convincing the head of Germany. At that time, it was still called Prussia. It wasn't even Germany. It was Prussia. You see, and later it became Germany. And so he was instrumental in convincing the head of Germany, Prussia at that time, to send an expedition into Egypt. And so he also convinced the head of Prussia, I know his name was Frederick, I might run across it, as we move through here, that Carl Richard Lepsis was the man that should lead that expedition. You see, Carl Richard Lepsis. And so he was the one that came after Champollion. You see, he was the one it was Carl Richard Lepsis that said it wasn't no vowels in it. You see, he was the one that said it wasn't no vowels in it. He was the one that formulated, he was the one that coined the Book of the Dead. You see, the term, the Book of the Dead. And so he was the one that was instrumental in helping to finish, the fabrication that Champollion has started. And I'll get to some key, as we move through maybe in some future presentations on Richard Lepsis. You see, but he led that expedition into Egypt. And so that was like the biggest expedition since Napoleon. He didn't go over there. He went over there with excavators and surveyors, and he went over there with scientists. So they went over there with a full armada, to go in there. So when you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark with Harrison Ford, and you see him in Egypt, and he looking for the Ark of the Covenant, and they in Egypt, and you see he's in there fighting with the Germans. You see, this is that time. This is that time when they were over there. And so we'll get, we'll look into, and I'll do some more up close and personal on Carl Richard Lepsis. But his student right there, Johann Peter Adolf Ehrman, okay? And Adolf Ehrman along with Grappow, you see, those two are probably, right behind Carl Richard Lepsis, because Adolf Ehrman was a student of Carl Richard Lepsis. And the importance of Johann Peter Adolf Ehrman, he was instrumental in putting together today the largest collection of what you want to call ancient Egyptian words. You see, even though when they put that dictionary, and it's more like an encyclopedia, but they call it a dictionary, but is volumes and volumes of words that have been put together. And so, they took on this great work to try to look over all the papyruses and And he brought together the great Egyptologists, the linguists, those who dealt in the linguist area of Egyptology. He brought them all together, and for it took them some years before they was able to put it together. You see, and so you see, here's one of his students, Kurt Heinrich Seth, who is also considered, and these is all Germans. And not only are they Germans, they are Jews. You see? Now, how interesting is that? That the one man who had the most to do with the so-called Medunator, today, nobody can dispute that. Nobody can dispute that. It's facts. And he taught damn near all the other linguists that was out there. He had his hands on them. Okay? So he was a Jew, and so was Kurt Heinrich Seth. He was Jewish, and so many more of them was Jewish. So, they're not about to take Egyptology too much out of the fold of the Torah and the Talmud. So you right there, you got serious conflict. You see, that's what they call conflict of interest. How the hell you gonna interpret the ancient Egyptian language, and you a Jew, and you look at the ancient Egyptians as some cursed race? You see, some cursed race, and so that was a setup. That was a setup there. You see, and because as I began to study how many so-called of these Egyptian deities, their names was popping up in German mythology, such as Thor and Hor. Hor was the term for Horus, Hor, Hor. You see, and so you got Thor, and you got Hor, and your Horus, and then and so you got even when you start interpreting Heru, and then you get Hercules, and they was borrowing a lot of them damn terms, you understand, purposely from Greco-Roman background and shit, German background. This is what they was doing, you see? And, I say, wow, this is not right. You know what I'm saying? So they pulling, but that's how they did with the damn Hebrew, which these niggas running around here talking about ain't no goddamn Hebrew. That shit is taken from so many various words. You see, now they trying to create words today. You see what I'm saying? Because they borrow so many words from different languages, especially Arabic. You see, they borrowed a lot from Arabic. You see, I know the guy that created that shit, Eliza Ben Yehuda, who created modern Hebrew. He borrowed from so much, and he said that his thing was that Arabic came out of Hebrew, that it was from the root of Arabic was Hebrew, and so he borrowed so much from the Arabic. You see, and he from my understanding, he also took from Coptic. You see, he also took from Aramaic. You see, he took from a lot of them languages over there to put that language together. And so, and they created words that they didn't have no words for. And so they just started creating words. You see? And so out of thin fucking air, they didn't have no ancient word for any of that shit. You understand? And so let's be real about it. And so you see here, Adolf Ehrman, and this was his partner. And so here you got, where's the Walterbach? You see, they're Egyptian, and you can see how even there, when you see how they spell Egyptian in goddamn German, you see all them different consonants and shit, and they even amongst the Europeans they don't spell that shit the same. So when you get to spelling words and shit, especially when you get to especially with the Medunetta, which even in its fraudulent form is not supposed to have vowels. When you start adding vowels to that shit, man, you could have 1,000 different words for one fucking word. You see? You can have a motherfucker get to saying any and everything under the sun. You see? And so he was also, and that is the dictionary right there, in which, and I can see right here, it says that the project was launched in 1897 by Adolf Erman during the reign of Wilhelm II, okay, and supported with 120,000 Reich marks. The project was undertaken at scientific academies in Berlin, Germany, Göttingen, Leipzig, and Munich, elected by a commission. Although cooperative international work was interrupted by World War I, the number of archived source texts had grown to 1,374,806 by 1918. Okay, source text had grown. Erman and Grappow published an intermediate result of the work as the Egyptian Concise Dictionary in 1921. In 1926, the 5 main volumes, financed by John Davison Rockefeller Jr., and autographed by the Danish Egyptologist Roger Erichsen, were published. So that right there show you that the dictionary was financed by John Davison Rockefeller. Okay? So we talking about who had their hands on the major work. Now, when you look up this dictionary, let me tell y'all something. There it go right there. There it go right there. Let me break this shit down. Let me see. They get this the shit in goddamn and damn. Let me get this shit in English. This shit in German. It is a large German language dictionary of the Egyptian language published between 1926 and 1961 by Adolf Erman and Hermann Grappow. It is a comprehensive work encompassing 3,000 years of linguistic history, including Old, Middle, and Late Egyptian, as well as hieroglyphic inscription of the classical Greco-Roman period. The dictionary contains approximately 16,000 head words in 5 main volumes, 2 secondary volumes, and five volumes of primary source references. It is therefore the largest and most complete printed dictionary of ancient Egyptian in existence. Wow. That's saying a whole fucking lot. You see? It's saying a whole fucking lot. And I already went over the fact that it was published by John D. Rockefeller Jr. Okay? It was published by John D. Rockefeller Jr. Okay? So there it is. Now I tell you what. Let a black man be the lead financer. Let him be the lead interpreter of a Hebrew language that they intend to teach to their children, to their families, to their babies over there in Israel. That right there is a total conflict of interest. Period. You don't never let no man teach and take over your culture. You see, and you understand it. So this is a total, this is a total conquest of our culture. You see, and so here you see right here. Oh, look at it. You can see the horns coming through them damn, through the fur. You see, John Davidson Rockefeller Jr. You see, now rock with me now. Now rock with me. Now, understanding this, that Germany, listen to me now, so we can understand where we're going with this. I don't want nobody to be confused about this. Germany was for a long time, was the only place where you could get a degree in Egyptology. They invented the damn, because you got to have a chair. You see, you got to have and really, they couldn't even give out no degrees until they quote unquote claim they interpreted or translated the language. Because without that, you ain't really got nothing to go on. You don't know how to interpret what you're looking at. See, that was really the key. They couldn't make it scientific because they thieving. You see, so they want to turn their thievery. They want to turn their thievery into science, quote unquote science. And so the only way they could do that is to have a language. Now they got a language. We need everything ancient Egypt so we can interpret it. You see? And so Germany was the first nation giving out degrees in Egyptology. And so all the great Egyptologists, most of them had to go to Germany, Berlin, to get their degree in Egyptology. And we're going to break it down, and I'm going to show you. I ain't going to play with you. Nah. There, right there. Wait a minute. Let me bring it up. Let me get it up. Right there, you looking at James Henry Breasted. Now, I got a lot of James Henry Breasted. He's like one of the, if not the greatest, American Egyptologists, European. We know he ain't over, the gyp, gyp means the gibber is the slight. You know what I'm saying? The steal, and you gyp a nigga, you beat him out some money and shit, you gyp him. You see? And so he's an Egyptologist. You've been gypped, you see, but he was considered the great, if not the greatest of the American Egyptologists. You see, and he's the first, the first chair of Egyptology in America. So in order to give out degrees, you got to have a department and you have to have a chair. You see what I'm saying? And that's almost like some masonry shit. You know what I'm saying? Where you have to go through these guys in Germany to get your rank and file so that you can go teach wherever you want to teach. You see, and so he was set up to go to America, come back to America, because he went to school in Berlin. That's where he went to school at. He went to school under Adolf Ehrman. That's where he went to school. And so when after he get his degree and he come back to America, he sets up the Oriental Institute right over there in Chicago. That's where in 1919, he set it up. Okay. And so, see, that's the key that a lot of people don't understand. You see, when they say Oriental studies, see, I want to talk to y'all about that. Let me make that smaller. Oriental studies. See, the big studies at first wasn't Egypt. They was over there in Iraq. You see, they was over there in Iraq. They was studying the Mesopotamian, even when you talk about Champollion, before he started studying, he was an Orientalist. You see, he was studying Hebrew, and that's what he was studying. A lot of them so-called Egyptologists, they was Orientalists. They was trying to prove the Bible. They was over there in Iraq and all over there with them ziggurats, trying to find something that could prove the Bible. You see? And so, it's nothing to be found. They found compared to ancient Egypt, that shit over there, nothing. You see? And so most of them, when Napoleon went into Egypt and Europe got wind of what they found, every motherfucker, I don't care where they was on the planet, it's like, skirt, hit the brakes. Them motherfuckers went to packing that shit up and heading to Egypt. You see? And so that's why, because most of them so-called Egyptologists was Orientalists, that's why in most history books, they gonna try to put Sumeria over ancient Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Because the majority of them was studying over there first anyway. That's really what they was trying to prove. But now the world knows that it's so much, they need to get in there and get that story together. You see, get y'all ass on there. We need y'all over here. You see what I'm saying? To get this story together. We don't want this to get out. You understand that we seeing black people on these walls and shit, and we got to get this story together before it break to the world. You see? And so, again, most of them, and so you see right now under the Egyptian department is in the Oriental department. You see? And so that's another reason why they started to suck Egypt out of Africa and put it over in the Middle East, which ain't the middle or nothing. Hold on, family. Let me get my cord. That's right. I'm black, y'all. I'm black again. I'm black again. This shit you ain't gonna get nowhere, y'all. You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. You see? And so that's another reason why they try, because the majority of them was Orientalists. They they're Orient. They want to pull Egypt out. And so once you understand, go to all them Egyptologists. If you look at Champollion, when you look at the first thing, it's gonna say Orientalists. You see, a lot of them, I had to get, let me see. Even his teacher was an Orientalist, the Saisi. You see, all of them, that was the main thing that they were studying. But anyway, so in 1919, that's when they founded the Oriental Institute. You see, in Chicago, which is the premier. You see, in the United States, for Egyptology, he was the chair. But who gave him the money again? David Rockefeller. You see, John Davidson D. Rockefeller Jr. gave breasted the money to found the Oriental. So he's not only was he there with the dictionary, he was there with the Oriental Institute. You see, and even when you go over to Israel, do you know the museum there, the Rockefeller Museum in Israel, is the museum where they hold the Dead Sea Scrolls and a lot of other damn materials. You understand? They found out most of that was fabricated, but he has his hands on a lot of things. Now, a lot of people want to claim, I use this linguist. Okay, well, we don't, and we study under this linguist. All them goddamn linguists come from one bloodline. You see what I'm saying? So now a lot of people want to, they like Gardner. You see, a lot of people talk about Gardner, Sir Allen Henry Henderson Gardner. You see, now they give him because he was English. You see, now I don't believe Breasted was, but Breasted was, I don't believe he was so much a linguist, as he was a historian on ancient Egypt. But Sir Allen Henderson Gardner was a linguist. And so a lot of people in the English world use Gardner. You see, they use Gardner. But Gardner was a student of Kurt Heinrich Self. And Gardner, just like Breasted, went to Germany to get his degree. They wasn't giving out no goddamn degrees nowhere else. You see? What the fuck is y'all niggas talking about? This is undisputable evidence. You ain't no nigga nowhere talking no Medunetta. When these goddamn Cro-Magnon Neanderthals was out there creating this shit, it wasn't a nigga nowhere talking about no ancient Egypt. You see? Except the masters like Dr. Ben, who was studying and doing it, but on a level that it was nowhere. You understand? When no niggas was talking no Medunetta. The shit that they talking today. You see? No way. That's a lie. Okay, you did not have no hand in creating it. None. You see, all 100% created. Now, what niggas do is they come today and they want to pick it apart and, and they don't want to come original. They want to take the shit that the Cro-Magnon then created and see, and then put their little niggerdom on it. They niggified methodologies and shit. And you understand, instead of coming purebred, you understand, from the root and just dismantle that shit and come up their own way and use their own methodology to come. You understand? So today, what you have is a niggified Champollion construct. That's what you got. That's exactly what you got. And they talking all this, but they won't even stay into the rules and regulations of what this shit they say is supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be spoken. It's a transliteration, meaning it don't have, but now niggas say it got vowels. They say it got vowels, so they can speak it and shit and this, that, and the third. It don't have no vowel. You see, and that's how it was constructed. And if you add vowels, which most people do, and understanding it's so many different type of vowels on the planet. If you add vowels, you will have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different words for one goddamn word. It would be pronounced 100 different goddamn ways for one goddamn word. You see, I was listening, I was listening to German. I studied, what I heard on the I say, let me listen to it so I could see, in their mind, what the fuck they was, and I heard how harsh German was over most European languages. You understand what I'm saying? When they start talking at Germany, they sound like goddamn, you know what I'm saying? They sound like they straight out the cave. Straight up. It's a very harsh language. You see? But anyway, so we see that Gardner is was also a student of Kurt Heinrich Self, who was a student of Adolf Ehrman. So both breasted the first chair of America that was birthed through the German. But most people don't know that the English is a Germanic race anyway. That English is a Germanic language. People obviously don't know that. You see? And so, and so when we start talking about, I had the book. Now that's Sir E. Wallace Budge. Now, sir, Sir E. Wallace Budge, he was one of the Egyptologists from Britain that did say that the foundation of the Egyptians was a African race. He did say that, but they got on him. They did not like him for that. They did not. They ridiculed his ass too. You see what I'm saying? I know Flinders Petrie, who was a Briton, he's considered the father of modern I believe, what is it called? It's where you digging, and he didn't dug up so many tombs and so many that he didn't built up a science on how to dig and how to based on dating, a dating model, on dating how old the potteries and different artifacts was. And so that's Flinders Petrie, and he got his museum over there too. And he did a hell of a lot of stealing. He's most definitely in the top 5 of all time in stealing. He stole a whole lot for the British, and he stole enough to fill up about 3-4 goddamn museums. You see, he stole a whole lot of shit. Okay, and that's real. I ain't mean it like that, but he stole, and so he was very hard on Wallace Budge for saying that the Egyptians was rooted in Africa, and Wallace Budge mentioned the Twa, saying that they were the foundation of ancient Egypt, which they were. You see, that's that's facts. You see, and so but in one of his books that I got, and I got to go get it, he got permission. He said in the front of it, on the publishing page, he thanked Rothschild. He thanked Lord Rothschild for giving him permission to write the book. Because at that time, Lord Rothschild was the head curator of the British Museum. They own that shit. The hell y'all talking about? They own it. Now, the first curator, and a matter of fact, I believe it was a different one. He was the head of the museum. Now, the first head of the Egyptian Oriental segment of the British Museum was Samuel Birch, who it wasn't no degrees in Egyptology. He was studying Chinese. This motherfucker headed the goddamn museum of Egypt. You see? Now, very interestingly, Gerald Massey, and he's like, everybody know Gerald Massey, the Egypt, the light of the world, the book of beginnings, and all of this. And so he was a student under Samuel Birch. But also, Gerald Massey also said that, that the Africans was the originators of ancient Egypt, but they looked at him as being, one of them, unrefined crackpots. You understand what I'm saying? Just like Wallace Budge. You see, they looked at him as one of them unrefined. Now, here you got, this is all, I should know his name. And then, I wait a minute, where is that? Let me see. I don't see that. Where is his I don't, where's them Jews over there? I'm on the end with this one because I didn't shown but let me see. Howard Carter. Okay, Howard Carter. Now, Lord Carnarvon, who funded Howard Carter, who dug up Tut. He was the one that went down there and pillaged Tut. You see what I'm saying? He was contracted by Lord Carnarvon. Now, a lot of people don't know that Lord Carnarvon, here you go, was married to a Rothschild. He was married to a Rothschild. Wait a minute, let me get her. Let me see if I can get her. That's right. Here you go. Let me put him in here so y'all can see it. Okay. Now that's Lord Carnarvon. Let me get another. And so that's his wife right there, Alexandra Wamwell. Okay, that's her name. Alexandra Wamwell, alleged to be the illegitimate daughter of millionaire banker Alfred D. Rothschild of the Rothschild family. Okay, and so she was a Rothschild. And when Lord Carnarvon died, I don't know, I believe he's over there, and so he down in them tombs, and he done fucked around in the curse of Tut, got on his ass. You see, I believe they talk about the curse of Tut, and obviously, you know, they was over there stealing and breaking in them tombs. And so the ancient Egyptians started using they started using some type of chemical warfare on their ass, to where when they bust them tombs open, them motherfuckers get to inhaling shit and it take their ass out. You see what I'm saying? So they went down in there and cracked that tomb. You see what I'm saying? And it was a lot of them that died. You see? Let me see if I can get something on that. I'll come back and look at the curse. I'll do one on the curse of King Tut. But anyway, he died before Howard Carter could finish. You know, he had, I don't believe he had found it yet. But that Rothschild, Alexandra Wamwell, continued to finance Howard Carter, and who was responsible for breaking into the tomb of King Tut. So it's without a doubt that especially Egypt at that time anyway was under, you know, the Rothschilds, period. The Rothschilds was running England, period. You understand? They had taken over the financial system in Britain, in United Kingdom, and they was funding shit all over Africa, all throughout Asia. They funded the De Beers, the Oppenheimers down there in South Africa with the diamonds. They financed Cecil Rhodes. You understand? They financed so many of those, you know, those ruthless damn, you know, Europeans that was coming into Africa. They financed the Suez Canal. You see, they financed all of that. But, you know, I just wanted to show and prove beyond any reasonable doubt, you see, that is, you see that, I see somebody say, Walter Williams is undefeated at 90. Walter Williams is the truth. Walter Williams is the truth. You for real. Walter Williams is the truth. It ain't no doubt about it. You see, they can say what they want about it. He is most definitely an enigma. He's most definitely an enigma in scholarship. You see what I'm saying? He is most definitely, you know what I'm saying? Him and Dr. Ben used to get at it. Now, them is my two top. Now, I leave it where I leave it just like that. Dr. Ben is responsible for period. Wouldn't be nobody out here if it wasn't for Dr. Ben. But most definitely Walter Williams came right behind him and has been a very a powerful eruption that nobody can deal with because the information is so powerful. It took me years to go behind Walter Williams, and I can't find too many cracks. You see, I just can't. I can't find too many cracks. And, even this lecture here, I have to, give credit to Dr. Walter Williams. I have to give credit to him for, leading me because I had ideas about this anyway. Even before Walter Williams, I never had the information though, to make it real, It was only when I saw, I did not believe, even when I was in my teens and I was studying that they had deciphered it, and the reason why I'm going to say this quickly before I get out of here, a lot of people was debating that Dr. Ben couldn't read the Madunata, and so I'm thinking to myself, I say Dr. Ben is the grand master. You're not gonna. How can it be possible that he could be reading and studying and breaking this shit down and he couldn't read it? And so it was like a civil war going on in the community. You had people that was they was going with Sheikh Diop and you had those that was going with Dr. Ben and the ones that was going with Sheikh Diop was saying that Dr. Ben couldn't read the Madunata. I say, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? So I was always looking for ways, to defend my master. I was like, and so I was like, man, that shit that they talking is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So whatever they studying, that's some bullshit. I knew it, and so but when I heard Walter Williams, he gave me the firepower that I needed. And once I studied him, I went to studying beyond what he was talking about. Because I'm a reason. I said, you know what, he didn't gave me all that. He gave me the foundation. I give him that. And I said, you know what, I'm going to just start stacking and stacking. I say, let me start studying these Egyptologists. Let me study all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so when I proved it to myself that what he was saying was true. And not only did they create that fucking Madunata, they created that goddamn cuneiform and that goddamn Hebrew, modern Hebrew, none the fucking less. They created all of them language, nonetheless, on some fabricated shit so that they could control the interpretation of the history of the world. Now they find in Israel on the Myrna Patah Stella and all this shit, and niggas talking about the Hyksos and you understand all of that. Those are only portals that can allow them, to validate the Bible. That's all that shit was, to validate the Bible. So y'all, most definitely, I give nothing but love to Walter Williams. I do. That man is the truth. He has, I've been studying him, now for over 15 years. And I can't get enough. I'll be going to sleep on Walter Williams lectures. I'll put the fucking closed captions on that shit and I'll just look at the words. You see what I'm saying? All right, family, I got one more. Let me leave up out of here. And so we could get black. You understand what I'm saying? What I got up next? I got some fire, whatever it is. So y'all stay tuned. I'm coming right back at y'all ass again. Black Power.